there would be no market for young girls if people were not buying young girls.
And when your dad tells you you're a piece of shit, you start believing it.
The cops broke in the door at some trailer park and found me hiding in the closet. He went to jail, I'm pretty sure.
We're seeing a lot of it now, especially with the whole Epstein thing.
You want to be a good girl, so he doesn't sock you in the face. And that's what would happen. So like
Growing up in an abusive household, alcoholism, all that stuff.
I struggle with that because I feel like that is all the media talks about, is this sensationalized version of trafficking that isn't happening here.
At what point do we say as people, like, hey, we can't continue to allow these things?
Yeah, there were like 14, 15-year-old girls he was pimping, and they're all like exactly what I was doing, probably. How many girls under 18 are in hotels right now on the street, like being, sold, basically? Whereas like you look at the person that trafficked me, he's in prison. I think he got 10 to 15 years. All the guys that bought me did not get jail time, obviously. No one knows who they are.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sisko and Mike Podcast. Before we get into today's episode, I do have to give a trigger warning because we will be talking about some sensitive topics. We'll be talking about abuse, traumas, and a bunch of other things. Mike, you got anything to say before we get into it?
No, I'm just looking forward, man. Let's get right to it. Let's get started.
So today joining us, we have an entrepreneur, content creator, and a survivor. We got Catherine Emmerich joining us.
Welcome.
Hi, good to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for coming. I know that we had talked about it last year before we started doing the renovation, and then we took a break, and
Yeah.
we've been chatting back and forth for some time now. And finally, thank you for making it out and being our first guest this season, actually. So
Really?
yeah,
I didn't know that. Thank you.
we've had 2 episodes recorded. This is our 3rd, but the other 2 was just us trying to get back into a flow because
Yeah.
it is a little nerve-wracking. Obviously, we have a lot to talk about. Before we get into it, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, the short version, I'm about to be 39 next month. I'm a mom. I have 4 kids. My oldest is about to be 22. And yeah, I'm just doing that work marketing full time, and I'm trying to make public speaking more of a thing. But it's slow going. But it's hopefully picking up thanks to you guys kicking it off this year. This is also my first interview this year, so thank you for having me.
Oh, nice. Well, it's a first for all of us. So hopefully we do a pretty good job. I know, because I was telling Mike, I was like, it's our first guest. I'm a little nervous, and I'm not going to lie. It does feel weird being back here. So it's like a little nerve-wracking trying to get into the flow of things and just getting into a conversation. You talked about public speaking. Is there a reason why you want to do that? I know that there's a lot of backstory to a lot of why people want to do it.
For me, it's just sharing my experience for more preventative reasons. I think like my experience is unique in the circumstances surrounding it, like me having a single parent, which is pretty common with what I experienced, but more like I was a runaway. I was like a bad kid. I was truant. I, was having sex at a very young age. Like all of these things made it seem more like I was just a bad kid. And like not, people weren't as worried, I guess you would say. So I think just informing parents and also teenagers, and hopefully giving them a little caution before they step out into the world on a more.
You're originally from, I saw one of your episodes, you're originally from Detroit, right? Or Michigan?
Detroit area, yeah.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about your childhood growing up over there?
I moved around a lot. So like I wasn't in Michigan all the time. There was a time when my mom was married to my stepdad where he was in the military. So we moved everywhere. I think she married him after like 2 days of knowing him in Florida. So we moved a lot, and then we ended up back in Michigan. I lived with my aunt and uncle a couple times. And then I was back home in Detroit, or in Southgate, which is a suburb. And my mom was working all the time because she was by herself. So I just had a lot of time by myself, and I was a super needy kid emotionally. Like I wanted that attention from my mom, and she couldn't give it. So that's why I started like seeking it outwardly, hanging out with kids I shouldn't be hanging out with. And I think like initially started in Southwest Detroit, like Springwells area, which is like there's gangs there, like Latin counts are there, like there's that sort of like group of people, and then moved up to like the west side for some reason. I don't know why I did that, but
How old were you on this time?
like young, like 13, 14.
Were you the only child, or did you have siblings?
No, I had an older sister, but she's 9 years older, and she moved out when she was like 17, I want to say. So
Yeah.
I was super young when she left, so it was almost like I was by
You
myself.
were like the oldest.
Yeah.
You know, and I think those years, I think, you mentioned you're 13 years old. Those are the transition years for a lot of us.
Mhm.
And, you talked about a single parent, and, even us, that I had both parents, but my parents were always working too. So you're right. We do seek validation, and we do seek attention from, what we think should be our parents should be
Yeah.
giving us to that. But when it's not there, I think it's very common here for us. I know you have stories because you kind of didn't have that. And one thing in our community, I think you see it a lot, is that when we don't have that, we search other avenues. It could be gang life. It could be, things that just.
Well, and in me growing up, the way I grew up, I was attached to people that were similar. You know what I'm saying? So, like growing up in an abusive household, alcoholism, all that stuff, you tend to, like, he lived 3 houses down from me, but I was kicking it with people that were going through similar shit to me, because they would understand, they would relate. So, I remember going out and doing the same thing, partying, drinking. It was attractive because it felt almost like if it was home. You know what I mean?
That's
At least
exactly
at
what
least
it
for
is.
me.
Yeah.
So
But it reflects in the people we choose to be with and
Exactly.
everything. Yeah. So I get it. Definitely wanting to feel like you're at home, but you're not at home.
exactly,
And like those people don't have the same like intentions for you
exactly,
as your
and you know it, but you don't care because, like I said, it's attractive. So
But I think there's an important part to it, and I think it goes to a lot of stories that it's like, at first it seems like great, and you don't see the real bad side of it. Like you said, you see it, but you just don't care. I feel like in the beginning you really don't see it, because you're kind of adapting, and you're relating, like you said, and you're getting this attention, and you're getting things that you've lacked. But it's not till later on when you actually start noticing it. Well, in my opinion, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like you have something. Yeah.
Well, you gotta understand, like with my father, I had a lot of dad issues, and when your dad tells you you're a piece of shit, you start believing it. So if you're doing shit outside that's you're getting in trouble, well, this is what I'm supposed to do because this is what my dad says I am. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And so that, I think, that's relatable to me, or it makes solidifies the fact that that's my path.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, everybody always talks about like the black sheep of the family. So I used to say I was a black sheep of the family.
Same.
So
I remember I lived with my aunt and uncle for a pretty long time. My cousin was almost like my sister, but she got pregnant at 15. And I remember she got pregnant with twins. And my aunt and uncle basically told me, like, you need to move out because we need your room.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like comfortable in this nuclear family. We were doing like horse shows and like all of this like wealthy people things that you do that I didn't have access to before. And then they booted me for the babies, and then also told me it was basically my fault that she got pregnant because I'm the one that brought the boys around.
Yeah.
Which was not true. Like, she had sex before me. So I was like, what? Like, I wasn't even there. So I just always felt like I was the bad influence. So I'm
Gotcha.
like, why am I not hanging out with people that are like me? Why am I trying to like be a good kid if I'm not in anyone's eyes already?
Exactly. If at the end of the day, nobody's seeing you that way anyway. So it was the point. Yeah, I feel you. What was the first thing that happened in your life that you said, "Oh shit, like I'm really like bad"? Because you start doing things that are not as bad, and then you get to the point where you're like, "Oh shit, I shouldn't be doing this," but I'm already in it, and it's like, it's like downhill from.
Probably the first time I ran away. So me and my cousin, this was when I lived with my aunt and uncle, we lived in the country. So we would have people like pull up on this dirt road, and they would have to run through cornfields to get to our house when my aunt and uncle were gone. So we would party, like we had guys in our room, like we were doing things we should not have been doing. So they essentially like grounded me, and I was like, you're not going to tell me what to do. And I ended up running away with this guy named Donnie. I think he was like 35 and I was 13.
Wow.
But we were like having sex, and he was taking me to like, it's embarrassing, but like trailer parks because that's where this family lived. So he would take me there, and then my aunt and uncle were like called the police. The police were looking for me. There was like an alert out to find me. I was running away. Like he would took me to Flint, which is hella sketchy, probably grimier than Detroit. And I was like around people I didn't know. It was just like I don't know how I made it out of that first chapter. But that was the first time when you I don't know if you ever experienced this, but I would get like your intuition or your gut feeling where you just feel like what you're doing is like bad. Like stop doing it. Like your body's telling you to stop. But you ignore it, and then you end up with all the trauma you have, basically, because you didn't listen.
So how long did that go before you got into like more serious stuff?
I think I got caught after like a week in that situation. The cops broke in the door at some trailer park and found me hiding in the closet. He went to jail, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what happened to him after that, but when I went back down to my mom's, I went to, it's very fuzzy, but I went to adult education because I wasn't being a good kid. So they had this alternative school.
Yeah. Continuation schools.
Yeah. But it was like kids young, like 14, 15. But they were like all the bad kids, but in one building. So it's probably not a good idea. But that's when I met like this girl, Chanel. And then I started going to like E-Course, Rouge, and then like worked my way up from there to Southwest Detroit. And then the West Side. West Side was where like all the really bad stuff happened. But Southwest was my introduction. Like I have photos of me wearing like baggy pants and like a Rockaware shirt.
Yeah, shout out to my shirt.
I'm like a blue bandana, and I'm like this girl from the suburbs. I'm like, what am I doing? Like looking back, I'm like, I was trying so hard to be something I wasn't, and it made no sense.
Well, I think it's hard because, you know, I think throughout our life, we're always trying to find our identity, you know, even as an adult, sometimes you still try to find your identity in some way. When you're 12, 13, 14, those are the years that you're experimenting on. You know, we've gone through our phases where we're skaters, we're, you know, ice guys. We're no, but I'm saying we're like different. We try like these different styles, and we're trying to fit in. And I mean, like you said, it's not uncommon to experience that and try to find that.
Well, being a dad, obviously, I have kids too, and they're going through the teenage years. I have one that's a senior and another one that's a junior in high school. But around the 12, 13, 14 age area or time frame, I knew that at that point as a father, and even their mom, the influence was not going to be as strong as the school. You know, that's around the time that you start getting influenced by friends and whatever you're going through. So I learning that from me growing up, not having that type of attention or whatever, it was like, okay, I got to be different because I don't want them to do similar things like I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to
We're
suffer.
trying to fill the holes that we had when we were kids. Like my 13-year-old is a 13-year-old. Yeah. She doesn't even walk around the block without me or like her dad. Like, I'm not joking. Like we live in a good neighborhood, but there's like random houseless people or people that are like methed out walking the sidewalk occasionally. And I don't let her out of my sight, and it would not happen. And I'm not like helicopter parenting. It's just, I'm very aware of where she is, what she's doing. I know the parents of her friends. Like, she's not staying the night anywhere. If there's only a dad home, not happening. So.
Yeah. And it's all based on because of what we went through.
Yeah. It's hard because sometimes you try to parent in the way that you don't want to repeat the same things that happen to you. But even then, sometimes you feel like you might be doing something wrong.
Yeah.
All the time.
What I mean? Because we don't know. We don't have the answers. Just because we experienced it one way, we fix that way, but we don't realize that we're doing things a different way. So it's hard. It's a hard balance.
Well, it's like my brother always said, right, Solito. I tried because I have a younger brother. He's in his mid-20s now, but I saw him as a teenager. Obviously, I was already an adult, and I would try to tell him, like, school him about like the streets, like what not to do. Like, hey, bro, be careful with this, with that. And one day he told me, he like literally said, hey, I know you're trying to get me to the top, but I gotta take my own steps.
Oh, that's
And I was like, holy shit. Like,
very profound.
exactly. I was like, he's like, I know you want me to take the elevator and skip all this stuff, but at the end of the day, I got to take the steps. And if I get stuck or if I fall down the stairs, that's what I got to go through. And I was like, oh shit, all right. And I backed off because it made sense. I could guide him in this direction and that might not ever happen to him, but he's still going to go through this other
Exactly.
route. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and is that the reason? So now you go out, do you speak like at schools or how do you do the public speaking?
I haven't actually, I say public speaking, but I haven't done it in person yet.
Gotcha.
It's only been over like on video or whatever. I did a video interview with Jan Broberg. I don't know if you guys know who she is, but there's like a Netflix movie about her. Like she was abducted by a neighbor and like sexually abused and all that, but she's amazing. I did one with her. I don't know when that's coming out. But they're all like video related.
Okay.
It's actually really difficult to do public stuff in schools, which is what I was hoping to do in Long Beach, because I always see like missing teenage girl flyers on social media and they look just like me at 13, 14.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm stressed and worried. And like when my partner was in county, he'd be like, yeah, this guy came in today and he was arrested for pimping and pandering and, you know, essentially trafficking. That's what it is. It's just like the word they use. But yeah, there were like 14, 15-year-old girls he was pimping. And they're all like exactly what I was doing, probably.
And I kind of want to get into that because I know that's one of the big stories that you've went through. And one of the messages that we're trying to get out there, obviously. Excuse me. So you're going to the south side, no, to the west side, I'm sorry. Excuse me. You're going to the west side now, and you said you were hanging out with the round crowd. At what point did you start seeing or did you start experiencing?
And what got you introduced into that?
It's hard to say. I feel like it was all like, it all had to be like lined up perfectly for it to happen the way it did. So I like was catching the smart bus up to the west side, got off on Grand River one day. I was by myself. I don't know why I went there or why I got off. I ended up meeting this girl, Veronica. She was like older. I want to say like 18 or 19. And I told her I was 16. I wasn't. But she was like, you can stay with me at my house. And I stayed with her and her boyfriend. And then I would like meet guys because the guys would always like pull up on me and I'd like go to the barbershop and hang out and basically just getting attention from men. But I don't know why it filled like a void. Maybe it was just any attention is good attention because my mom doesn't care about me is how I felt. And then I found out later, like way later, that the guys that I was hanging out with like had like open dialogue with James, who was the guy that trafficked me. Where he would like they would like tell him like, hey, there's like, you know, we saw this girl in the neighborhood, like she's new. I stuck out like a sore thumb. So I was pretty obvious. And then he ended up running into me at Coney Island. And I don't know if somebody like told him I was there or like if he had lookouts everywhere all the time, which I later found out. But yeah, I met him and then he was just kind of like, you can come like kick it with me. And he bought me food and like said, you can have a place to stay. Because I told him I was just staying at Veronica's or I would like sleep at random people's houses. So he took me there and like nothing, I'm not like sure why it didn't click when there's like a bunch of girls my age in the same house. Like why it wasn't like, this isn't normal. But it wasn't. And that's like how it started.
Now, were you a runaway at this point?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Gotcha. So the whole lure of like food, house, there's other girls similar to your age, that kind of caught your attention to saying, oh, okay, this is cool. You didn't even.
I thought it was cool because I was just like, maybe they're all just like runaways and like
Gotcha. And
their home life is bad. And like, this is kind of like a little sorority of girls that like have problems. Then none of them alerted me to it. So because there was this woman that was with us, and I haven't talked about this much, but her name was Treasure. She was James's baby's mom, and they had their son with them. Like everywhere we went, every hotel, whatever, like this little boy was with them. And like all of us kind of like mommed him a little bit. And then you feel kind of like oddly attached to this baby. and like you feel protective of him in a weird way. And it's almost like you have this like guilt if you think about leaving or think about running or whatever. You don't want to like leave him behind, or you don't want to leave the other girls behind. So I don't know if that was like on purpose, but he was super young, like 4 or 5, I want to say. And I think that's kind of what made me feel more comfortable.
Gotcha.
Like less like, this is bad, you know? Why would a kid be here?
Yeah. Now you met this guy, and you met the other girls. You don't see the red flags at the beginning, correct? Or did you see any red flags? And
I mean, I questioned it, but I didn't know anything about pimps. I didn't know anything about trafficking. I did not know that this was like a thing.
I mean, you're 13 years old. Like,
And you have to think Detroit's cold. It's not like there's a fig in Detroit. It's cold. The people aren't walking. It's like primarily hotel, motel, house call type stuff, like escort services, like disguised.
gotcha. How far after did you say, "Oh shit, this is what I thought it was at the beginning, and now I know it"?
Probably when he assaulted me, I would say. So he would have sex with all the girls whenever he wanted. And then like the first time that happened, but before that, he was like taking me to like Family Dollar, and like he took me to get my tongue pierced and my belly button pierced, and like did all these things that like I was like, oh, this is so cool, like, and fun. My mom would never do this. And I was like, but he would always like kind of guide me towards certain outfits, like schoolgirl outfits, or like, you know, like more revealing stuff. But I like got it because I was like, oh, like I felt cute at the time. And then later it was kind of like he assaulted me and made it seem like that was like a good thing, and all the girls were kind of jealous. Like it was.
So you felt like you felt chosen.
I think that's what it is. But like also terrified. I was not ready for that. Like he's super old, out of shape, like not somebody I'd be like, oh my God, he's so cute. Like was not somebody I would want to have sex with.
Yeah.
So.
do you think there's a reason? I mean, looking back now, right? Obviously, in the moment, it's kind of hard to think about it. But now, do you think there's a reason why, for example, the other girls didn't mention anything, or why they felt jealous? Do you think it was because, like you said earlier, it was just more of an attention thing, or?
No, I think if you look at any sort of dictatorship, in my opinion, or cartel situation, you want to be in the favor of whoever has the power to hurt you, right? Like you want to be in their good graces. So I think you want to be a good girl so he doesn't sock you in the face. And that's what would happen. So like I was only hit by him once, and that's all it took. And I was like quiet and good for the rest of the time. I was like down in the lobby of like a Red Roof Inn, and there was a family that had pulled up, like a minivan and like a mom and dad and kids. And we worked out of this Red Roof Inn like pretty frequently. And I like the dad talked to me. I didn't initiate conversation with him, but he was just like, oh, hey, what are you guys doing in town? Like just making basic conversation. And I said something back, and I guess James had someone watching. I don't know if it was the clerk or what. And then when I walked in the room, I was sharing a room with this girl, Camille. He was standing behind the door and like came out behind the door and said, what the fuck were you doing? And like socked me in the face and said, you're not allowed to talk to anyone unless I tell you can talk to them. Because I guess he was afraid I was like telling them what was going on or whatever. But yeah, that's all it took.
So this person had lookouts? Like he pretty much
everywhere.
So that's what I was gonna say. It's like it's an actual.
It was like an operation.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
And we didn't even know. We didn't know. Like we were around him all the time, so I don't even know how he coordinated it or like set routes. But even when I was in Brightmoor at this house, like if we went outside, we'd be like, "Can we take a walk?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, just around the block." And if we started walking too far, a car would like pull up on us and be like, "James said you need to get back."
Really, like that?
And it was like Nokia phone era. It's not like we had like like a iPhone or location tracking. So now I can only imagine how much worse the control is.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like I'm just gonna tell this stranger, you know, like I need help, I need to get out of here, or I just need to run away from this situation?
Well, I did. I told the neighbor. She was like an older lady. She had a son that was like we thought was cute. He'd always be in the car working on his car, or in the driveway working on his car. One day we were over there talking to her, and we were like, yeah, we really like, we kind of like clued her into what was going on without saying it, because we didn't know if she was in like cahoots with him. Like, you didn't know if anyone was. So, but she was like, okay, guys, come over here at 5 a.m. tomorrow, like, and, you know, I'll get you out of here. And so me and this girl went over there 5 a.m, and she was literally smoking crack and asked us if we wanted some. And then I was like instantly my heart sunk, because I was like thinking it was an out, and I was like, this doesn't feel right. Her son comes to pick us up, and then I find out he's like an aspiring pimp. So she was asking for us to come over so he could have his little like start of his brothel, I guess.
That's crazy. So the guy you guys always thought who was cute was actually trying to be just like the person you're trying to get away from.
Yep. And he was like it was like way scarier with him. So we ended up going back because this guy was like new and didn't know. And he was like flexing way too much. And he was way too like aggressive and like not as controlled and like calculated, which doesn't sound worse, but like it is.
Yeah.
He's not good at creating this like imaginary environment of like family or like false environment of family. So we just went back to what made us feel
like a family.
Yeah. Not normal, but family.
Yeah.
Like just like less scared, I would say.
Did at any point, I mean, obviously this is the neighbor, right? Did at any point was James, right? You said James was, did he know what was going on? Like, was there any like altercations between them, or?
Not that I know of. I just remember like we only stayed with the other guy for like one night.
Gotcha.
And then we ended up, I don't know how we found our way back, but he didn't live far from there. So Brightmoor is not safe. So we were walking back, and it was like really early morning hours, and James was not at the house when we got back. So he had a house with younger girls, and then it was like, I never saw it, but I was told that he had another house with like the women that used to like work for him at a younger age that like ended up staying with him because he got them like addicted to something, and they were at a different house, and they did like the more like street, like less like classy, like,
Gotcha, like
prostitution essentially.
Which is what I was going to bring up about the neighbor that was smoking crack. You know, we've seen it a lot in movies, documentaries, where they get these kids or these girls addicted to crack, to meth, to things like that, so they can pretty much control them.
Yeah, it's weird. I never saw the girls that I was with doing that, and he never like, he asked me if I wanted things, like I smoked weed obviously, but I never like, I was always too scared to try anything else.
So he never forced anybody?
No.
At least not from what you saw.
Not from what I saw.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, because obviously, like I said, I have two teenage daughters, and one of them is more like me. And so I have to always constantly be on top of her. And I don't know if you saw the last Rambo movie.
The one where Last Blood?
No. They kidnap his
and he goes to
niece.
like,
The cartels. Yeah. The last Rambo movie was about the cartels. So they kidnapped his niece, and the cartels kidnap her.
Okay.
And they put her in this little like brothel thing, and they're drugging them up basically. And I always tell my daughters, like, look, the reason why I'm so overprotective, the reason why they don't walk to school, like I had to walk to school in the freezing cold in the summer.
Hey, California
cold.
California cold.
Okay.
No, California cold. 60-degree cold. But you know, you see things in the street. Like I remember going by crackheads in the street, in the middle of the street, fights. You're exposed to so much stuff in the streets that you never know what's gonna happen, right? So I don't do that. I don't let my daughters are like that. Why you always like you gotta pick us up from school, this, that, because you don't know the persons that are out there.
And guess what? There's no gap of time where you can sneak away and do anything that I don't know about.
Exactly. So I showed him the movie. You know, I tell him and even the other one. What was the other movie that came out? That talked about trafficking.
The newest one?
Yeah, the newest one.
Sound of Freedom or something?
Sounds of Freedom. Yeah, I think
I
it was.
still have not watched that
I
movie.
haven't
No.
watched it either.
Please give me a really quick breakdown. Like,
Well,
what's the vibe?
It's about trafficking. It's
Yeah.
about kids. I can't remember too much about the movie. I just remember watching it with them to show them the effects of like what could happen if they ever thought about running away. I also show them Dateline, NBC.
Yeah, Dateline. I watched a lot of
Dayline's
Dateline.
definitely more accurate, I feel like. Yeah. I just watched another, was it a trafficking documentary where they were showing how like YouTube has kind of like ruined the whole like predator sting thing because there's so many people that are like wanting to be famous on YouTube and like catch predators. There's a guy in Long Beach actually that does it and it's wild. But it showed like this one instance where this guy was like, he like came in a hotel room like, oh, you're trying to sleep with the little girl, huh? And the guy like loses it. He like sobbing. He's like 19 and the girl he was talking to was like 15. So there's like some sort of like, is that wrong? That's only a few years, you know, like there's this weird like thing you're struggling with internally. Because in my opinion, I don't feel like that's the same as like a 47-year-old man and a 12-year-old girl. Like it doesn't feel the same because the maturity level is kind of similar in that smaller gap. But they didn't know what to do. And they were just like, what do we do? And the guy's like talking about killing himself and like, and they're just like it's just some random dude that doesn't know anything about. They're not trained. Yeah. And it's ruining that whole thing they're trying to like prevent, but it's not good. It's not going to help people get help or like change.
That's so exactly why I think I didn't watch that movie, because I know that they were talking about how some of that organization that funded it was not completely accurate with the way they portrayed a lot of the story, or the character himself was not who they say he was.
Who was it? Was it Jim Caviezel or something?
That was the actor, yes. But
okay,
I think
that's why I just had an ick thing. I have an ick thing with him. I don't know why.
Well, he's talked a lot about like is
he super religious or something?
Yeah, he's a very conservative. Yeah, super conservative.
Yeah, there's like a weird, and also like that. There's like a whole like genre of trafficking activism that very much portrays the trafficking that's in that movie. Isn't it like more like in other countries, like super young kids being smuggled in like buses and backpacks or whatever? I struggle with that because I feel like that is all the media talks about, is this sensationalized version of trafficking that isn't happening here, which is a problem. Like the girls that are 14, 15 that are troubled and running away from home, no one talks about it.
Yeah.
Or they're just like, there's a pimp and they're prostitutes. You're not a prostitute if you're 15. You're not 18. You're not choosing that career. You can't consent. You can't smoke cigarettes. I mean, in Michigan. But like... It's like, why are we not focusing on that also? And it's because these kids are like single parent households, usually low income. Nobody cares about them. They don't care.
Nobody notices.
Yeah. It's just like, well, it's just another kid that's not in school. Well, why aren't they in school?
Which is you're absolutely right. I think everybody thinks about like smuggling, right, and things like that.
Like
trafficking
this
across
thing
the
that
border.
we'll never see.
Yeah,
basically.
But I mean, we hear here all the time, and I've never seen it. But you hear stories, like industrial areas, you talk about Santa Fe Springs, you hear it there. Ontario, the truck stops, they talk about the areas where the truckers show up. There's a huge like thing, so we're always hearing about it. But you're right, people don't talk about it enough, especially domestically. And even now, like I feel like a lot of it is because, like you said, these kids are troubled kids, or the offenders are people that are established, in society. Yeah. Or well off, that they find means to kind of, I don't want to say cover it up, but just kind of hide it.
I mean, that like it leads me into a perfect topic that also doesn't get talked about. There would be no market for young girls if people were not buying young girls. So everyone wants to like jump on the pimp or the trafficker, as we would say, but like which is fine. But like, what about the guys that I was sleeping with? Like I remember like they took me to this neighborhood that was like in my area downriver, and it was like a richer, it was like, oh, that's where the rich people live. And it was there, and it was like so close to home that like I saw like the pharmacy my grandma went to, and like I saw all these things I used to see like with my family. And I walk into this house, and it's a super nice house. It was like an out call. So this guy like wanted me to come to his house. There's pictures of his family on the wall. Like his bedroom's like the size of my apartment that I lived in with my mom. It was huge. And I was like having sex with this guy, and he's married, and his kids and his wife are gone. And I'm a kid. And I'm like, he has kids.
Yeah.
His kids have friends that are my age. Like, so I'm even thinking of that, and I'm not even like mature enough to understand the gravity of like the access this person has to young girls. And no one even like looks at him sideways because he's just like a normal white dude that has like a white collar job. And
Yeah.
like, you don't think that guy's going to do that, but he did. And I'm like, I wish I knew who he was now because I would out him so fast.
Yeah.
I just,
Do you
it's
think that was
frustrating.
the majority of the situations? Was it people like that were more
Yeah,
established,
people that had
older?
money. People that had money. It was not the people like in the hood. It wasn't the people on the west side.
Because that's the misconception. People think
Definitely
it's
not them.
people think it's
They
you know,
were
I'm
the
gonna go down the
lookouts.
street, yeah.
They kept us in our little corral, but like they weren't the people that were purchasing.
Yeah, because even now, if you look, what is it, Figueroa Street in Los Angeles? That's what it's known for, right? Prostitution. But that's what people think of. They don't think about like the actual other stuff of home calls and things like that.
Home calls. So Fig, I actually just did an interview with a council or the LA city attorney. I did an interview with her on Fig, and she's working to like shut down motels on Fig. Like the hotel owners or people at the counter have like agreements with pimps usually, and they get like a cut or they get paid to be quiet and let whatever happens happens. And she's shutting down hotels. But when I went to Fig, I've avoided Fig since I've moved here for that reason. And it was so confronting and like disorienting. Everybody's ass was out. I have no idea. Like, I did not know it was like that blatant in broad daylight, like in your face. Detroit is not like that because of the weather.
Yeah.
Like it's not as in your face. So I wasn't ready for that. And also all I was thinking was like, oh my gosh, how many girls under 18 are in hotels right now on the street, like being, sold basically, because they're not on the street. All the girls on the street are probably 18. I mean, maybe not 17, maybe, but they're not like 12 and 13.
Yeah.
One of the things that's really triggering for me is the fact that like holding people accountable. And you talked about right now, like some of the hotel owners or the workers, they're in on this. And you're right, there wouldn't be a market if people didn't want like, to have sex with kids and things like that. But at the same time, like you have to start questioning your humanity if you're allowing this, if you can see something happening that's wrong. I don't know if that makes sense. Like
No, nobody says it. And
nobody's stepping in at any point to say something. And it's just,
I think they probably justify it as in it's gonna happen anyways. So
why not get a cut?
yeah, when I get a cut, and as long as they're not seeing it directly, they might feel that they're not directly contributing. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. I get that part. I get that part, but it still makes you question like how? Because I mean, these people, these hotel owners have daughters, they have sisters, do you know what I mean? So it's like, what's gonna prevent that from happening? And it's just like one of those things where just really, I don't know. It's just it's hard for me to talk about because
I think it's kind of like with the cartels, and I mean, I don't know a lot about like the inside structure of the cartels, but I've seen when people get caught, like accountants and stuff like that, they're like, "Well, I wasn't doing what they're doing. I was just counting the money." Even though
They were
what they're
getting such
doing,
a fat cut.
yeah. But even though what they're doing is contributing to people getting killed, traffic, drugs, everything, but because they're not directly touching it, I feel like they subconsciously just say, "Well, I'm not that bad of a bad guy."
But what does that say about us as a society? Because you think about it, one person speaking, like all it takes is one person to speak up to change a situation, and it's like, imagine we all did it, and it sucks because like there's minor situations that aren't even as deep as trafficking and prostitution and things like that, just, being young, you see a guy that's taking advantage of a girl because he's drunk or whatever it is,
Yeah,
and
that
how many
happens
times
so
people
many
just let it
times
slide
and
or-
nobody stopped it.
Exactly. So it's things like that. Like, at what point do we say as people, like, hey, we can't continue to allow these things? And I don't know, like, I feel like our generation, we're around the same age. It's like we should be thinking different. Like, a lot of the people that were like, requesting you and things like that, they were in their 40s when you were 13. I think that generation was,
Ew.
we can get into it, but
Well, we talked
We don't
about it in
even
the last
need to. I
episode.
think everyone knows what's happening in the world in general is being caused by the older generations,
100%.
right?
And I mean, we've seen.
Well, we talked about this in the last episode, remember? About they grew up that way and they thinking it was okay to date young kids,
But I feel like that's just like a bullshit excuse.
It is.
It is, because
It is.
people are always like, well, that's how I was raised and that's just how I am. Like, that's how my mom is. That's how everyone is. Like, Dad, why haven't you called me in 15 years? Well, you have my number. Like,
Yes,
that's the
exactly.
vibe.
Yeah, it is wrong.
What are you guys thinking? Like, what?
And that's the bad part, that is so wrong that they're still using it as justification.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But even now, we see it now. Like, we're talking about the older generation, but even us now, like, you see a lot of people that in our age group, younger, that still don't. As long as it's not affecting me, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? They don't think
I
outside
feel like
the-
our generation is special in that way, because even the next generation down is very like, it's like almost self-centered, I want to say, like so oblivious to what's going on, and we're the only ones that are so aware. I think because we had that shift from like no internet to internet, no social media, like it's like we've seen both sides, and we didn't know what was going on before because it wasn't in your face every day.
Yeah.
Whereas now we're like, wow, we like so much was going on.
Yeah.
No
exactly.
idea. Like,
Exactly. Like everything's more exposed. Like a lot of the stuff that happened around our neighborhoods. Like, for example, I go on a pedophile or the
Megan's Law thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I like to go because obviously, like I said, I have kids, and it tells
You
you
get to see your neighbors,
like
and
all the
things
little
like that.
dots and shit that pop
There's
up,
so many.
and you're like, what the fuck around the corner? Like, but back then we didn't know. You could be walking around the neighborhood and shit and be saying hi to the dude who was always saying hi to you.
Well,
He could be a pedophile, but
Well, how common was it in our families? We talk about, like, those, and we have this thing in Mexico, right? You got that one uncle that you never leave your kids with.
Always an uncle.
There's a joke, right? Oh, your uncle, that one uncle, he's
I
crazy.
wasn't
You don't
allowed to
stay
take
with
care of
him.
you, dog.
Yeah,
Don't sit on his lap.
exactly.
So you can sit on everyone
even
else.
then, if you think about it, it's like they want to normalize it. They try to normalize it or make
It's
it like
because they don't want to accept it. That's all it is. It's like admitting you're wrong or you did something wrong by turning your cheek. And I feel like that's all it is. There's a lot of shame with that generation. There's a lack of accountability, like no limit to that. It's just insane. And it has to do with their parents, obviously. I mean, they were probably brought up in a completely, totally like oblivious environment.
Or maybe not oblivious, but at least for like the
Complicit.
Yeah. Or I don't. You know what? If I raise my voice, I'm gonna get beat up. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say nothing. If I say something, I'm gonna get my ass beat. So nope.
no.
Yeah.
But
I think just the feeling, and I kind of want to get to that, like, looking back, like, you start growing up and you get through that phase. How do you continue to go on to, like, try to live a normal life? I mean, you can't really trust anybody because all the trust
That's
you
a
put into
huge
people
issue for
is
me.
breaking. I mean, you thought this neighbor was gonna help you, and next thing you know, she's hurting
I
you.
don't
you know?
trust. Yeah, I do not. I honestly, I don't think I've ever fully trusted anyone since then. Like, I'll be like, oh yeah, I trust you. With like my partners, I've been married quite a few times. I'm just not.
has that affected your relationship with them? Like
I
them
mean,
knowing,
if
like,
you
oh,
ask them, potentially, I don't know. Like the first guy that I married, I was 16, he was 24. It was right off of my trafficking experience. And he was like nice to me and like sweet and like got me flowers and like we had sex, but it was because I wanted to. And like I got pregnant right away, 2 months into dating him. But my mom was like letting him stay the night. He's 24. Why is he staying the night?
Yeah.
This is why I got pregnant. And then I got married because I needed to be on his insurance. So I was married to him for 8 years, but like, dude, I was 16. I didn't even know who I was as a woman
You're still a
until
child, not
probably
even
my
a woman,
30s,
yeah.
honestly, because I was a mom like constantly
Yeah.
and didn't know who I was. And then I looked at him one day and I was like, ew, I don't like him. Why am I married to him? Like, I was growing, but because he was 24, he stayed the same. Like, there was no growth.
Yeah.
So I outgrew the relationship. But it affected me in that he cheated on me all the time. He lied all the time. He lied about everything. Like the most trivial things that I'm like, why are you lying about? Like, what, like, why you took your wedding ring off?
Yeah.
Like, it was like the dumbest. I'm just like, didn't understand it because I'm brutally honest. People don't like it. And it's hard for me to maintain relationships because I don't like cater to egos. I'm not going to like make you feel good. If I don't like something you do, I'm going to tell you I don't like it. That's just how I am.
Is that how you always been, or is that because of your experience?
I don't know. I mean, when I was a kid, no. Obviously, I wanted to fit in, but like now, I don't know. I'd rather know who my people are up front. So maybe if I'm crazy and they stay, like, we're good. You know, like,
They're like, all right, they got through this part
that's
already.
a really unhealthy mindset, though. It's not good.
Yeah, that's I'm the same way. I take people to my house, to my parents and my brothers. We're pretty crazy around each other. So I was like, if they come back a second time after they saw this shit, then I mean, we're good.
You're like, we're all in. And then if you know, and then I don't have to waste my time. I don't have to like play investigator.
Exactly.
I don't have to like, it gives me so much anxiety. Like I can't explain it. It's so much anxiety. Like when I trust somebody and give them my love and like my attention and my time, which is very valuable. I don't want to do that in vain. I don't want to be like mocked or like feel stupid. If I didn't recognize this person was wearing a mask and I'm like with them for 3 years and I'm like, damn, they were like wearing a mask the whole time. And I wasn't. So that's not fair.
Yeah.
Like,
Is there things that trigger you like that? Like, you know, like that situation, for example, like you feel like maybe they're being fake that kind of takes you back and makes you like, I don't
everything
want
triggers
to say
me.
like hurt but self-sabotage where you start being like,
Oh yeah. It's like very, very small things. Like my partner is incarcerated and he has LWOP. Like as of right now, there's no out date. And he has a routine. So like if there's any shift in the routine, I'm not assuming. I'm not the type of person that's gonna be like, are you cheating on me? Are you talking to other women? I'm not gonna do that. I'm just going to shut myself down and I will disappear from your life. I'm not gonna confront you. I'm not gonna make a scene. But if I feel like you're being dishonest and there's enough change in our pattern and routine, I'm just gonna be like, I'm not even gonna stay to see what happens. I'm out, which is not good.
I
It's
mean,
not healthy.
yeah, it's a little bit of a double-edged
But
sword
then,
because
like, is it healthy?
because you have to be intentional with your things, you know, like you said, like we talked about growing and maturing is realizing that not everybody should be in your life. You know, and sometimes you have to cut people out.
But
And
then you
it's
get
hard.
lonely though. Low-key. Like I have one person that's a friend that I like would trust with anything. She's seen me in my most like I have full-on panic attack at like Target and I just want to leave. I want to leave everything there and just leave. And she's like, let's go. It's fine. She's not like making me feel bad about it. But there's no one else like that in my life.
No, and I agree with you about the whole shutting down, backing away, because I think it's like a self-defense mechanism. You're like, fuck that. I've been here before.
I'm not
I
going to
know-
look stupid.
I'm not gonna look stupid. I'm not gonna be hurt. There's so many components to that shit that you're like, if I'm gonna be hurt, he ain't gonna see it or she's not gonna see it.
Or I'm going to have the upper hand. Like I'm going to make the move first. So you can't make the move and then make me feel abandoned again. I'd rather have control over the abandonment
Exactly.
instead
Just
of
say keyword control. We were
it's
talking about
really
control.
controlling. It is. And it's like, that's why I said it is healthy in some respects. Cause I think some people are just very like out of touch. Like, unfortunately, I think we know like the more bad side of humanity and like how masks actually work and what can happen if you don't see it. But a lot of people are just like, oh, it's fine. You got to trust them until they lose your trust. I'm like, I'm not trusting anyone until they gain my trust. I don't know what you're talking about, but we don't start at 100 and take away. That's not how this works.
Start at zero.
Yes. I don't get that.
The only people I would say I could do that is my kids.
Oh, yeah.
But
100%.
there's times when, like, well, the middle one, and I love her to death, she freaking challenges me with my trust. I'm like, hey, are you my daughter or what? No, but I love her to death. She's a good kid. It's just, she reminds me a lot like me. So I think that's the only time that even if I'm wrong, I'll give fully my trust to them.
Oh, 100%.
Even if they do me dirty,
I feel the same.
it's like, they're my kids at the end of the day. Like, I wouldn't be able to, like, do any harm to my kids in the sense that I'd rather take the harm before them. You know what I mean? And even if it's coming from them, it's weird. It's just for my kids.
They have a free pass.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to get into that. Your parenting, you know, obviously you got pregnant at 16. You're 18 years old and you have a 2-year-old, you know, or a 1-year-old at the time.
And I was pregnant with my second kid.
How do you haven't, like you said, you haven't learned to be a woman yet. You're still growing. How do you parent? Like, you know, like as it is, it's difficult. And you just got out of this situation and now you're in another situation where it's difficult as well.
It's hard because I feel very guilty. But my boys were parented totally different from the way my girls were because I was older when I had the girls. I was so young when I had the boys. And I was influenced by his family, which they were never around. They were very judgmental of me. They did not like me because I was white. They let that be known from day one.
Well, what ethnicity were they?
He was black.
Black, okay.
Yeah. But they hated me. So, but they she would beat them, beat their ass, if they did anything wrong or out of line. I did not grow up like that. I never got spanked. So it was more just go to your room, you're grounded. But it was empty threats. So with the boys, I was influenced by his parents wanting to be accepted by them. And then I was influenced by my family, who was very much don't pick up the baby if they're crying because they're manipulating you and they're going to turn out to be spoiled.
Yeah.
And now with the girls, I was okay, babies can't manipulate you because they've only been alive for a month and they don't understand that. Yeah. It doesn't even make sense. I'm the baby's crying because it has a need that needs to be met. And it's my job to meet the need because I'm the mom. Yeah. They can't get it for themselves. So I found out with Birdie, she was super colicky and gassy. So I would have to be up with her all night, doing these leg maneuvers to get the gas out. And it was intense.
And this is you at what age?
Well, this is me in my 20s.
Okay. I was gonna say that's dope. You're already doing these things.
Not when I was a teenager.
Gotcha. You were learning. You had to learn that.
I remember him being in his crib crying, and I wouldn't pick him up, and I felt so guilty. So.
And it's because your mom told you.
Because everyone told me, or they'd be at my house, and they'd be "Don't go get him, don't go get him." And I felt but in my heart, you know how your heart is being pulled, yeah. And you feel so bad about something you're doing. It was awful. I knew it was bad. Thankfully he's well balanced and he's great and he's never been in trouble or done anything, but I still feel bad about that.
Now, I want to get to that. Your kids, at what age? I'm assuming you've told them what happened in your life, right?
Yes.
At what age did you talk to them about this? Did they ever question? They were what was that interaction like?
My youngest has learned the youngest because she's around when I'm talking to all the other ones.
Gotcha.
So, but with the girls, it's more they don't know as much. The boys have asked me more. But the girls know. I mean, they know, and they know a man made me do things I wasn't supposed to be doing.
How old is your youngest, by the way?
11.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she kind of already knows what's going on.
She knows. She gets all the overflow.
Gotcha.
Yeah. She's definitely the catch-all child, unfortunately. But she's so smart. Crazy.
Obviously, telling your kids is one thing, but at what point did you feel comfortable enough to start sharing your story, not just with your kids, but with people in general? Because
after I had my first daughter, I was in the hospital. I had an epidural and everything with the boys. It was very medically controlled. With Birdie, I didn't want to take any pain meds, so I felt everything, and I felt her coming out, and my body was expelling her, and I couldn't control it. I wasn't doing what they do in the movies and pushing on purpose. My uterus was just get out of my body. And the nurse was holding her in until the doctor was there. And the pain that like, it's not natural. You're not supposed to do that. So she's holding the baby in. So the doctor gets a paycheck essentially. And I felt so triggered and out of control, and like this person's hands in my body and I don't want it there. And she didn't ask. She just did it. And I was obscenely triggered. So after that experience, I was like, I don't ever want a pregnant woman or a woman in labor when you're that vulnerable. Like, you're splayed open for everyone to see. There's students in the room. There's like people just touching you and like not asking. And when you're crying out in pain, they're like, oh, just calm down. Like, the other people will hear you. Like, it's so triggering.
Yeah.
And so I started dueling, and then after I was a doula is when I started like opening up more about it. So I think that was the gateway where I was like, I really want to inform people so they're not doing this, and stick up for them, because you're scared to say no to a doctor. I don't know why, but you feel like you're not allowed. I didn't even know I was allowed to say no to a doctor in labor. I was like,
I think that's one of the key things that a lot of people, I mean, even us as men, you know, we've had issues where expressing ourselves or just, you know, letting our traumas, our experiences, speaking about them, you know, even now sometimes it's hard for me to like talk about a lot of things, but like you're right, I think you suffer more when you're silent, you know, and we need to stop suffering in silence. And that I remember, because one of the therapists we had on Memory Therapy, Luck, she said that was one of her things: don't suffer in silence. And that thing sticks with me, because I think that holds true even then. And I think you speaking about it, I don't know if it's true or not, but has helped you kind of heal.
it does help. Yeah. I don't have a therapist, unfortunately, but this is kind of a therapy, and I don't know if it's good because there is no after support for me. So if I do open up and I'm like just, you know, vomiting what my experience without having support after, it's hard. Like, I do shut down for days, or like I'm just not productive. So yeah, I gotta work on that, I guess.
No, it's a constant thing growing, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, one thing that I kind of want to get into, and then it's kind of off topic, and I kind of want to go back to it because I think it's a big thing and it's relevant now, you know, just from your experience. We're seeing a lot of it now, with especially with the whole Epstein thing, and a lot of these powerful people, and you talked about some of these things. Why do you think that victims are so, like, besides, you know, obviously when they're young, they talk about runaways, but even as adults now, why do you think people don't pay as much attention to them, or just ignore them, or just call them crazy, or don't put any importance to it? Because we're seeing it right now. You know, we're seeing public profile people, you know, billionaires, kings from other countries.
Yeah, I mean, they all like get a slap on the wrist and get away with it. So I feel like that's a huge, another discussion that I have a lot of people that disagree with me. These people, like your Epstein and whatever, the only reason I feel like he was prosecuted in the way that he was is because he had so many names. Like, he would have ruined so many lives.
Yeah.
And the only reason they wanted to pursue the people that were buying the girls from him was because they were like media worthy people, I think.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you look at the person that trafficked me, he's in prison. I think he got 10 to 15 years. All the guys that bought me did not get jail time, obviously. No one knows who they are. But trafficking also disproportionately affects minorities. It's like another area in which there's like bias. Huge bias in the prison system, the legal system, all of that. Like, all of these men who purchased me, 99% of them were white and like well-to-do. Whereas like he got, you know, locked away and forgotten about, not taking into consideration how he grew up, what resources he had access to. Did he have parents that cared about him? Like, what was his environment like? Did he see that and think that it was normal? Like, whereas these other men who grew up in probably great families with all the resources still chose to buy a 13, 14-year-old girl while his wife was away on vacation. Who was more like messed up in that situation?
Yeah.
Like, my trafficker was obviously horrible, but I still like have empathy because I've seen how children have grown up in the environment. His son, for example, was involved. So is he going to grow up thinking that's what you're supposed to do? They don't see anything else.
That's all they know. Yeah.
Now, do you know what happened to his son, like now?
No. I've tried to look up a treasure. Obviously, that's not her name.
Yeah.
Everyone had like a fake name. Lots of crystals and diamonds and like typical stripper names. But yeah, I don't know what happened to her. I know she was indicted with him in a federal case. I got like the Freedom of Information Act. I got the transcripts for that. But for some reason, the FBI handed it over to a local police department. And like she was removed from it. Like, and that case was also like almost half a decade before he got locked up for what he got locked up for. So he didn't serve jail time on the case with minors, but he did serve jail time on the case with like pimping and pandering and an adult prostitute.
Was there a reason for that?
I don't know. I called the FBI. I talked to them.
Were you part of the court process,
No.
like the witness, or no?
No involvement. I actually was like, I want to like go after him.
Yeah.
And then I looked it up and he was already in jail.
Gotcha.
That's another thing, like our system, right? We talked about it. Like you said it was years, right? Worth of
Years.
where they
He did it for so many years after the FBI had him on their radar. Like they did a full sting and everything. But I don't understand why he didn't serve time for that. Like they weren't able to tell me.
You think maybe he cut a deal?
I don't know.
Like he knew other stuff?
I would never know that.
or he knew other people, higher up people that he
At a broader level, that he was like, hey,
I highly doubt that. I want to say he was very like street pimp.
gotcha.
He wasn't that evolved in his business deal.
obviously we don't want to get into conspiracies and things like that, but like I mean, you said he was well connected with a lot of people, but it's just to me it just
But that was like Backpage times. Craigslist I think Craigslist had just started, so it was not monitored at all. And then he would take us to escort agencies, like illegal escort agencies, where they would take our photos and put us online as 18-year-olds.
And then you guys were underage.
Yeah, we were all underage.
No, but the escort agencies,
They knew.
Oh.
She knew. I remember the woman. Like, I could pick her out of a lineup still. She was very, like, you know, like fake jewelry and very, like, eccentric. But yeah, she didn't give a shit.
that's crazy because I know this is not humans, but it's kind of like the people that sell dogs on Facebook.
I know, it's the same.
Exactly, but you know how they sell it, right?
This is a purebred.
No. You know how they sell them, right? They don't put it out there as like, hey, I got this girl underage, or hey, I got this dog that I'm selling. They put, I'm selling the cage.
I'm rehoming.
No, they put a cage,
Or the dog food.
a dog food.
And the dog will be next to the
Yeah,
food.
they have the dog or a bunch of little puppies, and they have like, oh, I'm selling this dog food. Hit me up.
really.
But it's like
Yes.
secret language.
Secret language for I'm selling dogs.
puppies.
So I'm assuming the same thing with
Because Facebook, like, you're not allowed to do that.
you're not allowed to sell dogs. You can rehome them.
Same with
but-
animal
yeah.
or Craigslist. You're not allowed.
And I'm assuming the same thing happened with obviously with.
Obviously, yeah.
That's what I said. It's not the same thing, but I figure they figure out creative ways to put.
I went on a crusade when I was like 19. I had both kids and I stayed at home. I didn't work. So I had so much time on my hands. I would track down dog people that were doing that and I would report them. And then also I was skimming the ads, like the women seeking men ads on Craigslist. And I would find images of girls that I knew were not 18. I could tell by the way they were being posed, how their face was being cut off, because they would do that. They would stand us up against a wall and like do it at a certain angle where like you couldn't tell how young you are in the face. And
So you were going on Craigslist and
I would
hunting
find
down
them, I
ads?
compiled them and sent them to the news station and they like didn't do anything. I compiled them and sent them to the cops, but at that time the internet was so young that there was no like, well, whose case is this?
Yeah.
We don't know what city it's in. Like it was very like
They don't know
gray
if it's
area.
true. They
Yeah.
don't, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of negligence when it comes to this.
It's
Lots of paperwork they don't want to deal with, lots of like bureaucracy that nobody knows what to do or who to do it.
It kind of makes you question, like, you know, like obviously the platforms are bigger now, but because of all this language, because of all these protections, because of all these lack of accountability, kind of makes you question, like, well, how can you stop this? How can you really make a change, you know?
It feels hopeless sometimes.
And that's how I'm feeling right now. I'm sorry, but it's just like one of the
no.
So depressing.
yeah.
Well, they do. I've seen documentaries and other stuff where
Yeah.
they'll knock it down, but 2 more pop up. So the rate that this shit pops up, it's so, like you said, there's a high demand for it. And as long as the demand is there, there's always going to be somebody to suffice that demand.
In my opinion, it's not ever going to be solved until we I know it sounds way too big. It's probably impossible. But until us as a society actually goes to the root of it, which is a home environment, where people are being brought up and how that influences who they become as adults, this whole systemic failure, essentially. Even the prison system, the interview I did with Heidi, she was like, we need more prisons. And I'm like, no, we don't. That's not the solution. Why does everyone think that's the solution? No one would be in prison if they were majority of them wouldn't be in prison if they had access to the same resources as the people that are successful.
Some people are born without having a chance at life.
It's it's so much harder to get anywhere. In Detroit, it's so desolate and it's just despair when you go into the city. It's all the factories are closed. There's no big box stores because theft is a problem. So you have to go to the wealthier areas to go to Target. And no one can afford a car. So the buses, don't have a good transportation system. It's not like New York. It's cold. It's just, there's no hope. Where are people going to work if you don't have experience in anything? There's just liquor stores, churches, and gas stations, and beauty supply stores. That's it.
It kind of makes you question what the future holds, because I feel like another part of it is sexualizing women, in a lot of ways. And with social media now, we see it a lot. You see these, these kids now you see it on Disney. They put heels on these kids, and it's you start sexualizing them on TV.
Well, it's always been like
they
that.
feel like they have to look like models now because Instagram says so, or they're looking up to this person. And until that stops too, I think it's there's a lot to it. But yeah, there's no easy solve to it. There's no.
Yeah. I mean, it's a thing. I think the pressure to be, I grew up in MTV when MTV was MTV and music videos, Aaliyah, and I grew up watching all of those music videos. So I dressed pretty risque at a young age.
Even Aaliyah, if you think about it, R. Kelly was
oh yeah, it's everywhere.
He married her when she was about 14.
She was young.
She was 14.
Huh?
And he was in his 30s.
Huh?
And everybody made it okay.
They turn their head because they want to be in his good graces because he's R. Kelly and he pays my bills.
You got anything you want to add?
No, it's everybody knows this situation, this topic, and I want to say thank you for coming on and telling your story, because it takes guts, it takes courage, and so I want to say thank you for that. And I really hope that you continue spreading the message, because I think it's a benefit for my daughters. I know there's other people out there that have daughters, and even for boys, because it happens with boys.
Yeah.
It happens with both. It happens with kids. And so if we could spread the light for that and help, even if it's just one person, that's one more person than zero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really want to say thank you again. And, as a parent, I want to say to parents out there, and even to the kids and teenagers and young kids, just keep an eye out, keep your eyes open, because it's easy. Everybody talks about, the getting candy for strangers. That's the oldest thing. It's don't get candy for strangers, because that's how they lure you in.
Yeah.
But it's not just.
I've literally never had a man that has assaulted me ask me if I want candy.
I don't know, but I'm not saying
Ever.
candy.
I'm just saying I was looking for that guy, but he never showed up. He was always someone I did not expect.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying be careful what people are offering, if it's too good to be true. If somebody's offering you, hey, you want a new phone, or even if it's warmth, like you said, you feel like a family, right? They're out there to entice you, to make you feel something you haven't felt before. Yeah. So just be careful, don't be so easily trustable or trust people.
Yeah. My biggest thing is to prevent all of it from happening would have been to listen to my gut feeling.
Yeah,
The sick feeling you get in your stomach when someone is not right.
exactly.
Like you just feel this urge to move away. Like, do not ignore that feeling ever.
Yeah,
And that goes for anything. So
Ever. It's there for
yeah,
a
it's
reason.
there for a reason. Yep. It's your body alertness or alert system. So that's all I wanted to add.
I kind of wanted to ask something. Um, what are some of the misconceptions about survivors? You know, because everybody automatically thinks, you know, or they want to call them like, I don't know, they just, you know, especially now, like they want to say, oh, they're just playing the victim, or that was a long time ago.
Very hard.
There's
for
a lot of
me.
misconceptions.
That's probably the most disruptive comment or message I get on social media is usually like, why are you like milking this? Like, you're just doing this for attention. Or like, you really telling me you didn't know that like he was a pimp and like you really were that dumb? Like, those sorts of comments are hard to deal with. I think that's the biggest thing is like, I'm not attention seeking. This is not something I would want attention for. And I also really hate attention. So if I do something and I post a video, I literally post it, I put my phone down and I don't look at my comments or my phone for probably 2 days. Because I'm so afraid of what people are going to say about me. It's like the judgment. Like, it was hard enough to tell like my husband at the time, by the way, does it matter that I've slept with like almost 100 people because I was trafficked? Like, does that make me like, you know, promiscuous? Or like, does that count? Do you know how hard it is to figure out if like is that your real body count? Or is it like not count because it's like not consensual? Like those little struggles, like I would not be drawing attention to myself. On that, it's embarrassing. It's shameful. And it took a long time to say it out loud. That's the biggest thing. Just be nice. Like, not everyone wants attention. This is not, I'm just not that type of person. So.
Yeah. Have you forgiven yourself
For,
you know, feeling that way? Like you like, there's no reason you should feel. And I know you hear it a lot, and you know, people say it, and some people are gonna judge, but you shouldn't feel that way because you don't know any better.
well, yeah. I mean,
But I want to say forgive herself, fool. Because like you said,
Yeah,
right?
no, in that sense, because like she's making, you know, she's putting herself down, like, you know, like you don't have to.
But I
feel
don't think that's
yeah.
forgiveness.
Maybe it wasn't the wrong. It was a wrong word.
Because I was like, well, fuck, like I grew up fucked up too. Why do I want to forgive
No,
myself?
not forgiveness.
I think what he meant was,
Yeah, I know.
give yourself grace or just
like said, fuck. It's like
For being too hard on yourself, I guess that's what I wanted to say.
it's like when last episode, right? Where have you felt where like fuck, I went through it and I survived it.
Yeah.
You know, that's a thing that I've said like
sometimes, but the effects are still with me. I feel I'm very like, I don't know how to say it. I want to say it's like imposter syndrome, but it's not. It's like, I don't want the spotlight to be on me. I don't want anyone to praise me because I'm very uncomfortable.
Gotcha.
Like I don't know how to act
gotcha.
when
So
people say nice things.
I think I know what you mean because it's almost like me. I used to have this thing where I said, I don't want you feeling sorry for me. If I'm telling you what happened, I don't want you feeling sorry for me because fuck that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it makes you feel less. It makes you feel like
Don't bring attention to it.
Exactly. Just shut up. If I'm telling you, take it. Be like,
I'm not
"Damn."
looking for that.
Exactly.
And you really don't want people to think you are. So you're like, please don't do this. Like, yeah, I'm not good at compliments. If people are nice to me, I'm just like very like awkward and people think I'm mean and I'm not. I just don't know how to act. I feel uncomfortable.
Let's take a quick break. Pause it here. Go. It's who's stuck. He's like, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Oh, that's what you were doing?
Yeah, I already know. He's like, he's tweaking out. That coffee, bro.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say forgiveness, but it was
Yeah,
just I was
like,
just trying to
what
get.
the
I was
fuck
like,
is wrong
I was
with
trying to
you?
say like grace, like for
It's fine.
I was like,
Thank you
"Oh,
for it. Thank you.
I wanted to sock them for you." But hey, honestly, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I was so unsure about, like, I was like, why do they want me there? Like, I felt like I was not your typical guest. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like it's very, like, positive, and, like, I'm, like, not a very positive person.
I don't think you've seen all our episodes.
Yeah. But it's not even
The ones I
that.
have seen, I mean, they're very, like, lighthearted and, like, not as, I feel heavy. Everyone says I'm heavy.
No, honestly, there is positivity in your story. And what do I mean by that? Because I don't want to sound like this fool when he says, "How do you forgive yourself?" You said what? You're 39, right?
I'll be
You
39.
be 39. You have 5 kids,
4.
4 kids. That's an accomplishment. The fact that you're there, I'm assuming you spoke about your children just like I would have spoken about my
Oh, I
children.
love them, yes.
Exactly.
Sometimes I'm just like, I think I'm just at the age where I'm like, I really want to do stuff for myself. I've been a mom for so long, and I'm just like, I never have, like, money to do things for myself
Yeah,
because I'm always
they're
giving it to
expensive.
them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just want a weekend in Palm Springs, like, by myself.
But and you'll get there. You know why?
I'm like, dude, I'm almost 40 though. Like,
I'm 41.
I feel like a failure.
You'll get there.
40's young.
And,
Yeah.
and you'll get there when it's the right time. Trust me, I've had my ups and downs, and you're gonna get there.
Yeah.
It's just as long as you trust in the process and you continue to put people in your lives and yourself, because it has to do with you. As long as you put yourself in good situations, good things are gonna happen. If you already, it's like me. I'm 41. I'm like, fuck. I don't got.
Like,
I
my
can't afford
car
to
is
go to
a
jail.
2017,
Yeah.
and I thought I would have, like, a Cadillac by now. That's like my dream. And I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be so old by the time I get one.
You want
But
an
I'm
old school Cadillac?
never
Or
gonna
what
be
kind of
able to,
Cadillac
like,
you want?
bump in my Cadillac because I'll be too old.
Nah, I still do it. I still do it.
People are gonna look weird, but it's who cares?
Fuck it. We're still recording, right? Okay. I think that's cool. Like we just
I like that. I think I'm gonna keep that. Honestly,
yeah.
What?
what we just
What
talked
we
about
were
right
just
now.
talking about.
Oh,
His
yeah,
restroom break.
Yeah.
But we have this ending to our show where we have our guests. It's called Words of Wisdom, where our guest always just basically says what it is, words of wisdom, something that you live by or something that's changed your life, some words or a phrase or whatever it may
They
be.
could help out
Yeah.
those that are watching the show. Something that they could inspire to look up to.
I don't
From you.
I think the only thing that I live by is just being very open-minded and always trying to, like, put myself in someone else's shoes all the time. I try not to be judgmental because I feel like people have been very judgmental towards me, whether it's my appearance or, like, the way I act or my RBF that I have. I just don't. I want to make sure that in life I don't do that to other people, and definitely just the gut feeling thing. Like, always listen to your gut feeling. But other than that, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
That's the baseline.
You want to finish it off?
Yeah, I'll finish it off. Like I said, once more, thank you for coming. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to hear your story, and those are the people that watch us, for them to learn from something that not everybody wants to talk about.
Yeah.
Because it
Again,
is difficult to talk about.
yeah, it is a difficult situation. Everybody goes through things, everybody goes through tough times, whatever that is. Some are more extreme than others, but at the end of the day, it comes down to how we feel about ourselves and our emotions and our mentality, our mental state of mind. So whenever you're going through things, it's like you said, don't um, don't leave it in the dark. Try to talk to somebody. Somebody will listen, that will help you, and if they don't, still lead you to the person that will help you. So
Yeah.
that's all I want to leave with. Unless you got something else.
I go back to the same thing. Thank you for sharing your story. I think it's important. I think the fact that listening to you and seeing the growth, as an individual, and having empathy, because even now you're talking about the situation of these people and how it leads them to do certain things. Like, That's hard. That's even hard for me to be like, I forgive this person or I feel empathetic for this person without having hate or anger towards someone. And seeing that, you're already a bigger person than I am in that sense. And it's like people need to be more like that. People need to step in and be able to help and say something. You see something, say something, you know?
Yeah.
And we just got to be better. We just got to be better.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay.
It's been fun.
You have anything coming up? Well, you said you're not speaking publicly right now, right? Is there
Well, I would
somebody
love
you want to reach
to.
out to?
That would be great. I mean, Dr. Phil
Oh,
hit
wow.
me up twice. Last year, Dr. Phil, twice. And both times I was supposed to go on the show, but I got ghosted both times.
Hey, Dr. Phil, what you doing,
I'm
dog?
like,
Catch me outside, dog. Catch me outside.
I mean, if we can bring awareness to that topic,
Yeah.
let's talk about something
that's a big
domestically
platform.
affecting people.
For sure.
Yes.
And that's a big platform if he brings you on, which
And it hits a nice, it might even hit the generation of men who purchased me as a child,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
They might be
They're
older
probably the ones watching him.
in their retirement home right now.
Yeah.
I think public speaking, you know, sharing your story, and like you said, it's your therapy. I've said that repeatedly about this. Being on a podcast, listening to people's stories, interacting with them, connecting with people, it is a therapy for me, you know, and I think if it helps and it's a great thing, you got to keep speaking. And I think it's a great thing for people to bring awareness to specifically. And yeah, Dr. Phil, stop lagging it, and also, do you still have your clothing line? I know that you were.
I'm taking a pause,
Okay.
but hopefully I will be back at some point this year.
Okay. Well, regardless, make sure you guys check out her page. You can find her at
Emotional Support Bay on Instagram and TikTok, but I'm never on TikTok ever.
Yeah, it's hard to do TikTok. Sure.
I think that's just like the generation under me, you know?
That's difficult, but thank you again, and thank you guys for watching. And
Thanks
if you
for
guys have
having
any
me.
questions, reach out to us. And if anybody needs anything, make sure to talk to someone.
Yes.
All right. Peace out.
Bye.